China, the Chinese chicken. You have a drumstick and your brain stops sticking.
Hey everyone, this is China Chicken, and I want to do a review of The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 6. It was the new episode that just came out, and I'm going to be doing a full review of the episode, going through some of my favorite scenes. So leave a like, subscribe, and let me know what you think down in the comment section below about this video, and we'll get right into it. So the opening scene is with Joel and Tommy as a kid, 1983, I think it was, maybe 1981. But it was with their dad also, and their dad is a cop, and Joel and Tommy got in trouble. I think it was Tommy that got in most trouble here. And Joel is kind of covering for Tommy, knowing that his dad is probably going to beat them. So Joel wanted the cover for Tommy so he didn't have to endure that beating. So the father comes in and explains to Joel that my father beat me a lot more than what I'm about to do to you, and I hope that you do a little better than me when you have kids. And I thought that was really interesting, and this scene wasn't in the game at all, so it was kind of cool to see Joel as a kid, teenager, and having to go through this with his father. I know a lot of people go through abuse, and it's kind of like a generational thing. Is you kind of think about it as a kid, like, I'm definitely never going to do this to my kid, and I hope that my kid never does this to my grandkid, and so forth. So I thought that was a very interesting scene here. Yeah, and I thought this was a fun scene here. It was Ellie's birthday, and Joel had a cake made for her, and I thought it was kind of interesting that Ellie just doesn't understand how to live a normal life and not being in the zombie apocalypse, post-apocalyptic world. And she just grabs a handful of cake and starts eating it. And Joel is going over to grab a knife to cut slices for her, and she just doesn't know how to act at all. And she's like, wow, this cake is amazing. I've never eaten anything like this. She just goes in with a handful and grabs a piece of cake. So that was kind of a fun scene there. So this was a fun scene also where Joel gives Ellie the guitar for her birthday and tells her that he'll teach her how to play. And Ellie says back to him, well, I want you to play a song for me right now. And Joel plays a simple song called Future Days, I believe it's called. And we get a glimpse of this with Ellie back in Seattle a couple episodes ago, where she starts to play this song and she says this line here, if I were to ever to lose you. And then she kind of goes blank there and has a blank stare, and you can tell that she's having trauma from something. And we know now because Joel taught her how to play this song, and he played it to her on her 15th birthday. So she's having trauma with losing Joel and feeling very sad about that. So I thought that was a interesting little tidbit there. So this scene here was from my favorite scene of the video game from part 2, and it was when Joel and Ellie go to the dinosaur and astronaut museum, and this is just outside of the museum, and Ellie climbs up the dinosaur and yells, I'm on a motherfucking dinosaur, like you can see here. I was so happy watching this and come to reality. I've been waiting all season. Actually, when they announced this, they were making the show, I've been waiting to see these scenes here that are coming up. So I love it so much. It was so good in the game, and they did a really good job in the show. Basically, they did it one for one. I was kind of worried that they were going to change it up a little bit, but they did it exactly how it was in the game. So that was perfect. And this right here really goes to show that this is an amazing show, and they did such a good job adapting this to the show from the video game. They did a perfect job. I just rewatched the scene in the video game, and now rewatching in the show, they did such a good job. They did it one for one perfectly, and it was so good. This is my favorite scene from the whole game. I love the flashbacks. I love Joel and Ellie together and how happy they are. And they were so right by saying this is the happiest that Joel and Ellie will ever be, and the happiest that we would see them. And it's just perfect. On her 16th birthday, going to visit the museum and going through all the dinosaur exhibits and all the astronaut exhibits, and Joel giving her the tape, and her putting on the helmet and getting in the pod, and she plays the tape, which is a tape from Apollo 11 and the takeoff from Apollo 11, and she just closes her eyes and make believes that she is in the spaceship and actually going out into space. And this is like the sun overpassing as you're out in space here. So I just love this scene so much. They did such a good job. Bella as Ellie did such a good job performing this. Joel, Pedro Pascal as Joel did perfect. Oh, just so good. I'm so happy that they did this scene as it was meant to be. So in this part here where Joel is just watching her out in space in her imagination, and he says, "Did I do okay?" And she's like, "Wow, you did such a good job, Joel. Like, this is the best birthday present a girl could ask for in this post-apocalyptic world." So they just did such a good job with this scene. I loved it so much, and I was having tears of joy just watching this scene. It's so good. Pedro Pascal is amazing as Joel, and Bella is really good as Ellie too. I know a lot of people think that, but I think she does a great job. So this is 1 year later from the museum, and Ellie's 17 now. This is on her 17th birthday, and Joel walks in on her having sex or kissing a girl. We actually meet her in episode 1. I think her name is Kat, and she was giving her a tattoo on her arm to cover up the burn that covered up the scar from the bite that she got. And Joel comes in, he's all pissed off that they're smoking weed and having sex, or making out at least. She's making out with girls, so he's kind of confused because he didn't really realize that she was gay, that he thought she was straight. And he says here, experimenting with girls, and he just really doesn't understand that at all. And so it's kind of interesting here how he blows up at her like a father would over his daughter. You know, like if you're walking in on your daughter doing drugs and getting a tattoo and making out with other girls or boys in that case. So it was kind of interesting here. And after all that, Ellie decides that she wants to move out into the garage. She doesn't want to deal with Joel anymore. She wants her own space, and she's trying in the middle of the night, when it's pouring rain outside, she's trying to move out there behind his back while he's sleeping. He gets up, and she's moving her mattress, and he says, "No, you can't move out there. There's no heat or running water in the garage or anything. You can't live out there. I want you to be here in your own room." And he finally gives in and says, "Okay, I'll help you. Let me think about this for a couple of days, and I'll help you move out to the garage, and I'll get it up and running for you. I'll put heat in there and running water and all that." So I thought that was kind of interesting that he let her do that. But she is 17 now, so I guess it makes sense. Okay, so this is a intense scene that we don't see in the game at all, but this is Eugene here, and we've heard about Eugene throughout the season. He's Gale, who's the therapist of Jackson, and this is her husband, Eugene. And we knew that he dies, and we knew that Joel kills her, but we don't really know why. And now we know why, that he got bit, and Joel didn't want to, deal with it. He just wanted to kill him and get it over with. He knows that he's going to die anyway, and Eugene is saying that he just got bit, so he's got time. He's got about an hour or so he wants to walk back to Jackson and stay at a safe distance and say goodbye to Gale one last time. And Ellie really wants this to happen too. She wants Joel to do this for him so he can have a send-off by saying goodbye to his wife of 40 years or whatever it was. So that was kind of interesting. Okay, and here Joel has Ellie go back to get the horses so they can head back to Jackson with Eugene. And Joel promised Ellie that he would do this for Eugene. And of course, here's Joel saying, "Give me the last words and I'll tell Gale, and I'm going to kill you right here," basically. So Eugene kind of resists and he says, I need to see her. And Joel tells him, well, if you love her enough, then you will be able to picture her in your mind. So he does that, and then Joel pulls the trigger and kills him. And then Ellie gets really mad about that, and we'll look at that in a minute. In this scene here, Ellie and Joel bring back Eugene's body for Gale, and Joel tells her a lie. He says, that they had to kill him. Right there, he was turning right there, and Gale's all upset about it. And Ellie tells Gale the truth and says, no, he had time. We were going to bring him back here to say goodbye to you, and Joel killed him anyway. And Joel was really shocked by this, and then Ellie just turns over to Joel, and she says, you swore, which he did. And it's not all about this one thing with Eugene. It goes back to the end of season 1 where she makes Joel swear that he told her the truth about the Fireflies and that whole thing at the hospital where Joel killed everyone. And yeah, he lied about it. He told her that he didn't kill anyone and that there was no cure and that there was a lot of immune people and that there was nothing that they could do about it. So he got her out of there, and he lied about it. And she knew in the back of her mind that he lied about it. And now she realizes for sure that he did, because he lied again the exact same way. And she knows that this was a big lie. And this whole 5 years of the Fireflies being gone, and she could have been the one to end the infected, to have a cure for everyone. And she's really pissed off at Joel about this. And this scene here goes back to episode 1, where after the dance party at New Year's Eve, where Joel pushes Seth over after calling Ellie and Dina dykes, that she got really pissed at him again, and Joel left, and he was sitting on his porch, and Ellie came by, looked him in the eyes, and walked right past him. Well, we now know that Ellie actually turned around, and she came up to the porch and had a conversation with Joel, and she wanted to make good with Joel, and she wanted to talk this out. And I'm so glad that they did, because that would have been really horrible if Joel died the next day without them talking about this. And a lot of people that didn't play the games thought that that's what happened, that they just had, that Ellie was mad at him this whole time, and they never reconciled all their trauma together. So Ellie says here, you looked me in the eyes and you lied, and it was the exact same face. And that's what she was talking about earlier with Eugene and Gale, that he lied to her, and then he also lied to her about the Firefly thing, and she's going to give him one last chance to tell the truth, or else they're going to be done. And Joel says right here that making a cure would have killed you, and he couldn't let that happen. He loved Ellie, and he loved her like a daughter, and he doesn't want the same thing that happened to him earlier in his life with Sarah, with his real daughter, to happen with Ellie. He didn't want to lose her too. And Ellie says, then I was supposed to die. This was my purpose in life, and you took it from me. You took it from the whole world, and they could have had the cure, and they could have solved this whole issue, but it would have come with Ellie's death and Joel's trauma, and he couldn't let that happen. And this is so powerful, too, that Joel says if he had a second moment, or if he had a second chance to do it all over again, he would. And he would kill everyone just to save Ellie, because he loves her so much. And this is huge for Joel, too, and how it comes full circle with him, with the therapist and everything, and how he wanted Ellie to love him again and try to like him again. And she says, I don't know if I can ever forgive you, but I would like to try. And that's all he needed to hear. And that really made everything clear to him that they're good now and they can move on from this. And unfortunately, it ends with him dying the next day, which is even more tragic. But that's The Last of Us, and that's how the show goes. That's how the game goes. That's how it works in this world, unfortunately. And of course, it ends the way it started with this episode, with Joel's dad saying, I hope you would do a little better than me with your kid. And then Joel's in that situation, and he says to Ellie the exact same thing. I hope you would do a little better than me with your child if that time comes. And obviously we know that that Dina is pregnant, and Ellie loves Dina. It's not her kid, obviously, but it's the same thing with Joel. She's gonna love that child just like Joel loved Ellie. So hopefully Ellie will do a little better than Joel did with the next kid. So anyways, this is the end of the episode. This is how it ends, and I just want to you guys to let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Was there anything that I missed that's really important in this episode that we need to talk about in the comments? Leave a like and subscribe. Thank you for watching this review. Hopefully I did a good job, and have a great day.
Chickadee China, the Chinese chicken. You have a drumstick and your brain stops